Hi, audience. Parul here, life and leadership coach, your usual host. And today we actually talking about an important subject because it's September, and September is celebrated as a mental health month. Is to find a way to support people who need support, and we all here to support you. And I have a special guest, my friend from all the way from India, Meher Parul Nagar. Yes, we share same name, but we are not relatives. We just friend. And you've seen Meher before. She has talked about very strong points, encouraging points, and her story. So today we're going to be talking to Meher about an important subject. Meher, welcome on board, and thank you again for giving us the time for our audience. And
Thank, thank you, Paul.
we're celebrating Mental Health Month this month. And thank you for coming up with some suggestion as well.
Thank you so much, Parul. I just thought that we must speak about it as we are already in the month of suicide prevention. Specifically, I wouldn't put it on a day or something. I would put it for a year. If I could, because it is something. Uh, I feel that is very critical, which everyone knows, everyone is aware about. But today we are going to speak about a lot of other things we haven't spoken about, and I feel that there is a need for people to know, to not just know, but uh, be aware and mindful um, of it, because at times, even though we know it, but we aren't aware, or we prefer not to do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, mental health. I mean, obviously, not many people like to talk about, and when we hear people who are celebrities and things, people come out, is get kind of like open up. But,
Yeah.
it's a subject, we are human beings, it's a subject we need to talk about because affects every single one of us somehow, some way. Some people go very extreme, some people, minor, and sometimes I think the challenge is the minor issue sometimes people ignore, and that leads to bigger issue. So let's come to the subject. Let's have a conversation. So today our subject is how parental trauma impacts mental health. So Meher, can you tell us from your own experience and experience of not just your personal experience of experiencing, but also you work with other people as well. So elaborate a bit more about how parental trauma impact mental health.
Sure, Parul. I just thought to bring this topic up because uh, in all the households, specifically in Asian countries, okay, I'm not going to specify anyone, I'm not targeting anyone in person, but then it is a fact in most of the uh, households, not just in India, but as I said, uh, in Asian countries, that parents are being put at a place of a god, and they are being considered that they cannot be wrong. They cannot they cannot do anything wrong or abuse their child. It is not possible. If they are yelling or shouting or doing something, it is just a normal thing. It's okay, a child should take it. But people, the thing we need to highlight and put into point, it's not just about me, but I'm a trauma survivor since I was 5, and my trauma started through my parents and through my grandparents too. They were part of it, and before I go ahead and speak about it, I would want to highlight, I have heard so many clients, so many women who are so, not just women, even men, when we start this session, because initially I used to work with both of them, now I work specifically for women. But with my experience, I have heard so many of them, when we start this session and we do consultation, I start up and I ask them, what kind of, please tell me what kind of a relationship you had with your parents. And they say, everyone says it was good, it was that, and then later they come up, they speak. And the fact they come up later is that because initially they are so apprehensive to speak about that they were being abused, or it wasn't the way it should have been. And they find it so difficult to even express or say, even to accept it within themselves a lot of times, because it's a taboo. Let's speak about it. It's a taboo. Yeah, we are still living in 2022 and it's a huge taboo for a lot of people to even accept that this has happened, and it should, it's an abuse. It shouldn't be done. If a partner does, we call it an abuse, but when a parent does, it's not an abuse. It's not possible. It's abuse is an abuse, whether it's your whatever, whether it's your uh parent, whether it's your grandparent, whether it's a sibling, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely, Meher. You touch couple of points. First of all, yes, mental health month, and mental health is a taboo because people don't like to talk about it. And when it comes to their own individual, people shy away. But one thing to remember that we all need support, we all human being. There is no shame to talk about your own health and well-being. So go and reach support people like Meher and myself. There are lots of people there to support you. So always reach support. You talked about Meher, uh, parents have their own issue. As a result, the impact on others. And we've seen that a lot. Parents could be abusive, relative could be abusive, but and they're dealing with their own trauma, but they then reflect their own kids, their own children, which no fault of the child. And the other thing you mentioned, yes, certain communities, not just one community, abuse happen in every community, and it's just abuse is an abuse. It's really important that it doesn't happen in my community, it doesn't happen in Muslim community, or it doesn't happen in a Hindu community. It happen every single community. And as an expert, as an experienced people, we worked with lots of people. We've seen how people hide. I mean, my own personal friend was abused by her own father, but she didn't talk about it until she finished school. Because, yeah, so we've seen how is impact them mentally, and they might become a better person, or they then become abusive parents or abusive partner, is because what happened to them. So that's really important topic. You mentioned about how own experience impact on others. So and it's really important to recognize that abuse also happen by others in the house. We've seen teachers abusing students. We've seen priests, Muslim teachers, Hindu teachers, all abuses. So and they're seen as a parents figure, and they might have their own issue, but that doesn't mean they have the right to abuse you. But it's really important to seek help, and like whether you are a child or an adult, always important to seek help. Or as a parent, if you're struggling with own trauma, it's really important to seek help. So Meher, tell us, summarize your final points for our audience, and then we can put some information about how to get in touch.
Sure. So I think I would want to give some few tips for the audience, for the people. If you are living with toxic or extremely abusive parents, and you have no option. First thing is, I understand if you don't have an option, because there are situations wherein you are first time caretaker and you can't do anything about it. You have been abused and traumatized since childhood and even now. Uh, you don't have to suffer it alone. You don't have to take it alone, and you don't have to think that you have to do it because you are a child and it's your responsibility to do everything. And that doesn't mean you should get abused or traumatized.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important not just to seek help, but to accept it. The first thing is acceptance. If you are not accepting, there's no point seeking help, speaking to your friends or support or anything, because that won't help you. Excuse me. The next thing is, a lot of people, like for me, when I used to go and speak with my people, friends or what, there are times even they don't acknowledge that it's an abuse. They say it's okay, they are your parents, you have to do it, let them do it, you ignore it. No, we can't ignore it. I mean, I would say, at least for me, I can't ignore it. I can't ignore it for long. If it's not happening, it's not happening. I just don't do it. I mean, I have come to that level of my journey after healing, that I've realized that if I'm not able to do something, I just don't do it, even if it might hurt them. But I could just can't do it, and there's nothing wrong in it. You are not doing any abuse or any bad to anyone, and you are just being mindful about your mental health and their mental health at the same time. Okay, so don't burden yourself or force yourself to do things what you can't do. And the next thing, I would definitely say that I know it is very easy for others to say you it's okay, take care, be there. And I also know that it's not okay. It's terrible. It's horrible. People feel like committing suicide or ending life because of that. There must be thousand reasons, but let's speak about highlight. I mean, shame, guilt. You have to do it. What people will think. A lot of other things might force you and might tell you to maybe end your life, or maybe God should take away my life, or something extreme. Even thinking about taking away their life because you are just done with all of that. And it's okay. It's okay to think that way. It's okay to feel that way. But the fact is that you need to come up, accept, be aware, acknowledge, accept it, and then go ahead and seek help. Because until then, it won't go away from you, and it has to. It's important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Meher, for your top tips to our audience. You listen to Meher. It's really important. Yeah, feelings is a feelings, but doesn't mean that you have to take the action. And we know the mental health drives people into very extreme because that's how they feel. But feeling is one thing. But remember, you have one life. And you got to look after yourself because no one else will. So self-care, make self-care your top priority. Whatever happened in your life, whatever happens in the past, make your self-care as a top priority and seek help. You go friends, you go expert. If you can't go to your friends, go to expert. There's lots of support available. You'll find my details, Meher details below as well. Meher, if people want to connect with you, what's the best connection?
I would say Instagram is the best way to connect with me, because I specifically work with not just parental trauma, but childhood, generational trauma, and abuses, because all of this is interrelated. And there are a lot of people who go through it since from an early age.
And what's
Yeah.
your Instagram name, Meher?
Meher Parul Nagar Official.
Okay, great. Okay, so audience, you can connect with me and you can connect with Meher, and stay tuned because we will be bringing more episodes, especially this month. We'll be talking about mental health. And you can see my background is Strong and Free Volume 2. There are lots of women came out and talked about their story. This book will be available this month. And and you'll be able to buy a copy for only less than a cup of tea, actually less than 99 cents. But stay tuned because I'll be coming back and talking to you about this book launch as well. So, Meher, thank you very much for your time, and we'll be talking about another episode soon as well.
Thank you so much, Parul, for bringing in, and I'm glad and blessed and grateful that we are friends and we are able to do this together.
Thank you.